Back here on the brand new block with BJ from The Product. Thanks a lot for coming on the show, man.
Hey, happy to be here.
All right, BJ, I'm going to start with a pretty general question. How did The Product get its start?
We all kind of grew up back in high school, kind of playing in different bands and things like that, and then we all got out of high school and kind of went our separate ways. People started doing different things, but somehow a few years after we got out, we all kind of wound up back, and now we're really into it and playing all over and doing all that good stuff. So
when you guys have some downtime, whether you're on the road or what have you, what music can we find you listening to?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think everybody in the band actually listens to different genres. Myself, I'm probably the most tunnel vision when it comes to that. I like my modern rock, alternative rock. I also like my classic rock, but it's basically got to have rock in the title for me to listen to it. But, in terms of, my brother RJ, who's the drummer, he listens to, Icelandic death metal and pirate metal all over the radar with that stuff. And then the other guys, Rich, our bass player, he likes ska, he likes punk rock. The guitar player, Charlie, he's a little bit more like me, but he also has a bit of a ghetto side. He likes Eminem and 50 Cent and the rap and hip hop stuff as well. So it's definitely all over the map.
All right, and I actually heard there's a funny story about how your brother became the drummer. Why don't you tell us about that?
I had just started The Product. I had a couple members, and my goal always was with The Product to take it as serious as we could and as far as we can and go with it. Well, the members that I had, each one at different times would start flaking out, so I kept going through stuff. And like I said before, the two guys in the band now, well, the three guys, but the two guys I'm talking about, Rich and Charlie, the bass player and guitar player, I brought them back in after the bass player and the guitar player I had didn't work out. So they were here, and then it kind of kept going with it, and what happened was the drummer was the last one to go, and after he went, I think he was the second drummer I went through in the past 6 months, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I walk into from the practice spot, and I'm just like, dude, you're going to play drums. I told my brother, I'm like, you're going to play drums. He's like, all right, man, sounds good. So we went out and bought a kit that day, and he's been playing for about 3 years.
Where were you when you first either heard yourself on the radio for the first time or heard from someone else that you were on the radio?
The first time I was on the radio was a station called Banana 101.5, based out of Flint, Michigan. Definitely one of my favorite rock stations. We had sent in a couple demos, and the music director there, Tony Labrie, called us, and he's like, hey, man, really like this one. Think I'm going to play you guys at this time, da-da-da-da-da. So literally it was about 10 of us packed into a small, like a GMC Jimmy. We're all packed in because we're actually where we're from. We didn't have reception for Banana, and we wanted to hear it on the radio, not just online. So we actually all, 10 of us packed into this SUV and drove probably about 20 minutes west of where we're from in Michigan. And, we sat in a parking lot, cranked it up loud, and definitely had all the goosebumps and everything like that. It was totally a surreal moment.
You guys have played more than a few concerts over the years. What's your most embarrassing moment during a concert?
There's been one or two that really stick out. One of them, but back when we were booking all of our own shows, we had booked a show in Indianapolis, and we had it booked about a month and a half. We sent them the flyers. They said everything's good, blah, 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 blah. We get there for the show, thinking it's going to be a pretty decent show. It was our first time in Indy. Get in there, find out that we were supposed to have two bands open for us. Anyways, we get there and find out one of the bands had canceled, and then one of the bands was supposed to be coming. Well, we get up and do our sound check so that they can set up in front of us because we were going to be headlining the night. And turns out that not only did they not hang up the flyers or put our name on the board or do any type of promotion for the show at all, the other band didn't even know they were supposed to play. We set up, sound checked, and played to the sound guy for our sound check and found out the other band wasn't coming, and obviously nobody else was coming because there was zero promotion done. So after playing sound check and sitting around for a half hour, we said, well, forget this. We packed up, and then we went over to the next place we were playing in Indianapolis, which happened to be a much, much better show.
Now, BJ, we've got Pop Evil coming on later on the show. I know you guys are both bands from Michigan. You guys have played a few shows together. What's your experience been like with those guys?
You know what? Pop Evil has always been awesome to us in a way. They're a bit like a stepbrother to us. We're not super close, but we've definitely played a few shows. As a matter of fact, we're playing a show in Bay City. I believe it's called River Roar or something like that. They're going to be headlining the show. We're going to be opening it up for them. But every show that we play with them has always just been awesome because the people that like us seem to really like them, and the people that like them seem to really like us. So it works out good. And, it's also just awesome for all the Michigan talent that seems to be spread around, and people seem to be enjoying them and stuff like that. And those guys are having a lot of success, and we wish them the best of luck. And definitely anytime they want to bring us along on tour or anything, you make sure you mention that. We'd be more than happy to come along.
Let's get to the new EP you guys have coming out on June 5th. It's called So Alive. Tell me a little bit about it and what the fans can expect from it.
Well, our first EP that we released, definitely out of the norm. We actually self-tracked it, ourselves. We did it out of a studio in a garage, kind of like the new Foo Fighters record, and did everything ourselves, the mixing, mastering, distribution, was completely DIY, and we had some pretty decent success with that. I mean, we had some stuff that went on MTV and, won a couple unsigned band contests, played a few dates on Warped Tour, had some radio play, and so, that was just such a great feeling for us because of the fact that we did it all ourselves. We could be proud of the work that we put into it. So this next time around, we thought that we really, how are we going to beat that? What can we do to make it even better and take it even further? So we were kind of shopping around to different producers and people that had worked on stuff before, and ended up working with a guy named Brian Virtue down in Nashville, Tennessee, who's worked on a lot of the big records for 30 Seconds to Mars and Chevelle and Puddle of Mud and Korn and Deftones, and kind of these more edgier bands, more raw-sounding bands, and we just thought that we knew that we wanted to go into this record and make it just a little bit heavier, a little bit more gritty, a little bit more raw. And so, we talked to him and went down there and worked on the EP with him, and really cool experience to be able to do that and get back and his tips and his thoughts on the songs and what we could do to pull the best parts of the songs out and make the songs the best we can make them. And, I think we accomplished that. We're all really excited to put stuff out. Our single, My Damage, has been played in about 5 different states now in, very, very varying levels of radio and everything like that. So it's just getting us really excited.
I started out with a general question, so I guess I'll end with one. What's next for you guys?
I think the biggest thing right now that we're focusing on is pushing our single, My Damage, and our EP comes out June 5th. We're going to be hitting the road really hard this summer, just trying to hit up as many people as we can, get the word out as much as we can. And then I would expect sometime in the fall or maybe more close to the winter, we're already starting to write for the next one, that we're going to start shopping it around and seeing if we, decide if we're going to do another EP or maybe we'll do an album this time and just try to one-up this one, keep bringing the game up and keep going further, so.
All right, the new EP is called So Alive, and it drops June 5th. We've been here with BJ from The Product. Thanks a lot for coming on the show.
Thank you, guys.
Here's the first single from that new EP. This is The Product with My Damage on the brand new block on FM 89.